in other news, GB News can exclusively reveal that Just Stop Oil are now aiming to target the UK's busiest roads and bridges, guess when? Ahead of the general election.
Well, this activist group has confirmed that it plans to protest on what it calls a massive scale to cause maximum disruption in an attempt to force police officers to make thousands of arrests and overwhelm the country's judicial system.
Oh, well, that would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Be lovely.
That would be really helpful. Joining us now to discuss this is Just Stop Oil spokesperson Dr. Bing Jones. I mean, this is an outrageous statement from Just Stop Oil, isn't it? That they want to cause maximum disruption to force police officers to make thousands of arrests and overwhelm our entire judicial system. I mean, these people aren't team players, are they?
Well, hi there. It's good to be able to talk directly to your listeners and viewers. I think that this statement comes from Youth Demand, which is a group of young people who are basically utterly scared. We've got to set this in some kind of context. We're looking at the worst crisis humanity's ever faced. We're shooting past the last point of safety, which is 1.5 degrees, and we're heading for 2.5, 3 degrees.
The worst crisis humanity's ever faced? Worse than the Black Death when half of people in Europe died?
Quite possibly worse than anything that we've ever faced before.
You think half of people in Europe could die due to climate change?
It's not even just in the future. It's happening right now, Tom.
Wow, half of all of us are going to die. That is news to me.
We have got farmers saying that wheat crops are already a quarter down. We've got pasta flour short in the Mediterranean, and we've got people starving right across Africa with up to 6 years of no rain.
And yet we've produced more food in 2023 than at any point before in the history of the Earth. It's almost as if when we encounter a challenge, scientific progress, technology and all the rest of it help us overcome.
But we've basically been living in debt. We've been part of an industrial revolution for 300 years, and we think we've been clever, but we've actually been storing up trouble. We've been burning far too much oil, gas and coal, and we've got to stop. And young people, this is a group called Youth Demand, and they are utterly scared. And they're listening to scientists.
Do you know what I'm scared of? Sorry to interrupt you, but do you know what I'm scared of? Crime. OK, I'm scared of crime. We have rising crime in lots of areas of this country. And if they want to overwhelm our judicial system and force thousands of arrests, that's not really going to help with the crime I and many others are worried about, is it?
I'm scared of crime too. And we've got a government that has been found unlawful several times, twice in terms of its own policy on the climate. And they have been found unlawful in the way that they're trying to suppress, trying to shoot the messengers who are trying to tell them that things are really, really bad. Emily, we've got scientists from the IPCC saying things like that we're facing a dystopian future, that the world's response is reprehensible, that they feel hopeless and broken, and that there is no safe place for anyone. This is not a crisis. This is a collapse of the climate.
Oh, it'd be awfully good if we had a department for energy and energy security and combating climate change, wouldn't it? Or if we had carbon budgets every year since 2009, or perhaps if we'd halved our emissions since the year 1990. All of those things might have helped, mightn't they? Oh wait, they've all happened.
We have done some good things. Some of the figures are very, very distorted. But the fact is that the High Court has found the government to be unlawful in terms of its future policy, which it has not actually clarified. We're in deep trouble.
Let's break that down. Dr. Bing Jones, the government has been found to be unlawful because it might not do something in the future that it hitherto has done by the letter.
Tom, you are not concentrating. You're not paying attention. We're facing the worst the worst crisis humanity's ever faced.
Dr. Jones, you keep referring to that, but I'm asking you to be specific when it comes to your allegation of unlawfulness about something that might happen in the future. That's your claim.
The government has passed a law to say that it has to plan to manage the climate crisis to keep the UK citizens safe. And the High Court has said that it is not doing that. Therefore, it is unlawful.
This is about future carbon budgets. Sorry to dive into the technicality here, but the UK has hit its carbon budgets every single year that they have been set. We are miles ahead of any other country on this. We've halved our emissions since 1990. And yes, there was some ambiguity about what might happen in 5 or 10 years' time. But my goodness, look at what's happened in the last 10 years.
No, I'm sorry, Tom, but politics is failing us completely. We've had a whole week of campaigning for an election, and there's been hardly any mention until today about the climate. The climate is absolutely dire. I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
I have spent my whole life looking after really sick people. You have got to recognise when you've got a really big problem. And we're not
I'm not sure blocking bridges and closing down busy streets is going to help. I think that might actually endanger more people. And as a doctor, there may well be more people to treat as a result of this. We're going to have to end it there. I'm sorry, because we've run out of time. Dr. Bing Jones, Just Stop Oil spokesperson, thank you very much indeed for your time. Good to have a back and forth.